Good morning, everyone. Welcome to another edition or devotion from P3 Revival Community. This is Pastor Ludwig Skimper, and I welcome you to this morning edition of the morning devotion from P3 Revival Community. Today I'd like to speak on when God doesn't answer. Have you been through those moments or seasons where you have felt that God is far or silent or doesn't answer? I'm going through an interesting book by Pete Greig called God on Mute, which has had me thinking about this topic, as well as also the season that we are in, where people are thinking on death and life, and people are thinking on the virus, and people are locked down in home and they are afraid, and all these things. Myself, I believe in the power of prayer. I believe in miracles. I have seen miracles. I have seen prayer answered in radical ways, supernatural ways. I have seen it where people have been radically or dramatically healed before my eyes. I have seen weather patterns change immediately because of prayer. I have seen some dramatic answers to prayer. But what happens when prayer is not answered? What happens when the disease is not cured? What happens when we go through the valley of the shadow of death? Maybe you're like that this morning and you have not been healed. You are going through the darkness. You are alone. You are feeling the pain. You are feeling the loss of a loved one. May this devotion be for you this morning. And I can't say that I do have all the answers, because I don't. I am still grappling, wrestling with issues myself, trying to understand. But this I know, and this I will share this morning. I love this quote. It says, this was graffiti found in 1945 on the wall of a basement in Köln, Germany, where Jewish believers thought to have been hiding from the Gestapo. I believe in the sun even when it isn't shining. I believe in love even when I am alone. I believe in God even when He is silent. Maybe you are going through a moment where God is silent. Maybe you are going through a time where the sun is not shining. Maybe you're going through a moment where you are alone. Let me tell you, love is there in the form of God. He is the sun that shines amidst the storm in our hearts. No matter the storm, in our hearts we can experience the love and sunshine of God. Now you may say, Ludwig, you don't know what's going on in my life. You don't know what I'm experiencing. You don't know what's happening. And I know this is easy for me to say, not knowing the situation. And I'm not trying to say something cliched or just pat you on the back and say everything is going to be okay. But I'd like to wrestle with you through these things, and maybe, if you allow me, allow a ray of hope and sunshine into your life. I'd like to read from Hebrews, the book of Hebrews in the New Testament, from verse 19, chapter 6, verse 19 and 20. This hope we have as an anchor of the soul, both sure and steadfast, and which enters the presence behind the veil, where the forerunner has entered for us, even Jesus, having become high priest forever, according to the order of Melchizedek. I'd like to also read, that was from the New King James Version. I'd also like to read from the Message Bible, just to spice it up a bit today. We who have run for our very lives to God have every reason to grab, this is now from verse 18, this is just the way that the message is structured. We have every reason to grab the promised hope with both hands and never let go. It's an unbreakable spiritual lifeline, reaching past all appearance right to the very presence of God, where Jesus running on ahead of us, has taken up his permanent post as high priest for us in the order of Melchizedek. Now this day we may be facing various storms, stuff that is shaking us. Maybe coronavirus is shaking us. Maybe something else totally different that is not on the spotlight today. Maybe another disease or another loss or bankruptcy, or facing uncertain future financially because of everything that's happening, or other things, or rejection from family, whichever it may be. You may be angry at God, you may be shouting, you may be feeling like you have been abandoned and the storm is raging. Here I pray that God may speak. Let those voices calm down, quiet, and just allow God's whisper to come through this morning. We see in Hebrews there's a storm raging, and the writer, a lot of scholars believe it's Paul, throws out the anchor to try and stable the ship, to try and keep it from going onto the rocks. This anchor hooks onto something at the bottom. We see, and I would like to discuss about this for a moment. This hope is our anchor. We throw out a lifeline of hope. And last time we were speaking on weight. On Wednesday we spoke on weight. Weight is connected to hope. Hope, in the biblical sense, is strongly connected to two things. Firstly, trust. Trust in something, in someone. This trust is, let's say you have made an appointment and you're waiting to meet someone. You trust that they will meet you at that point. This is not a wishful thinking. This is not a illogical, vain hope that maybe. This is, I know this person. He has always kept his word. They have always been true to what they say. If they said that they'll meet me there, then for sure they'll meet me there. I'm waiting here knowing that soon they will come. This is the kind of trust that is connected to hope. And secondly, hope is connected to expectation, earnest expectation. Trust in expectation. This is like, in a practical sense, when I sit down on a chair, I expect it to hold me, even though it's possible that it won't, but most people don't think of it breaking. They just sit down. If it's a teenager, they just plonk down. They just fall onto the chair or the sofa, never expecting it to give way or not to hold their weight. If it's our own shoes, or, you get the feeling that hope is connected to expectation. I expect, because of what I've seen, because of what I've read, because of what other people have said, I expect it to behave in a certain manner. This is hope. Hope is trust, a personal connection. Hope is trust through personal experiences. Hope is earnest expectation through what I have read and through what I have seen. So today, when you are in trouble, when you feel lost, throw out your hope, your anchor. Don't throw it away. Throw out the line, as it says in the message of the Bible, that throw out your helpline, your lifeline. Throw out your lifeline. Throw yourself. Call on to God. We see that Jesus is the one that we are hooking onto. He's the anchor. Anchor. What an interesting word. Interesting, in the first church, anchor was a symbol for Christianity that was used. Anchor is very close to what the cross looks like. Anchor was used to show that in those days there was a lot of trouble, people dying and stuff going on. So the anchor was thrown out. That was their lifeline, their hope, their life. They threw it out. And Jesus is the one we hook onto. Why Jesus? We see that Jesus is the presence of God. We are hooking onto the presence of God. But not only that, it says that he who is sitting on the right hand of the Father, meaning we're remembering the crucifixion, the victory of the cross. We're remembering the resurrection, that not only are we hoping on something that is dead but alive. Jesus not only died on the cross, but he rose, meaning my hope is hooked onto someone who overcame the cross, a hope which is alive. And not only is alive, but he is ruling with authority. And not only is he ruling with authority, my hope is hooked onto someone who cares for me. Because he says he's the high priest, meaning he's interceding. He thinks and he intervenes. Therefore, my hope is hooked onto someone that cares for me, someone that is there for me, someone that is present. May the Lord be with you. Maybe you are lost, but this day I urge you, don't throw away your life, don't throw away your hope, but throw the lifeline, throw your hope onto Jesus, onto the solid sea floor, river bank, bedrock that is Jesus Christ, and hook onto him. The storm is raging, and sometimes the storm does not get stilled by Jesus. As you see in Psalm 23, that sometimes the valley does not disappear. The valley is not taken away, and I don't know why. I don't know why sometimes people are not healed. I don't know why sometimes there's no supernatural divine intervention. But this I know, that he will walk with me when I go through the shadow of death. When I fall in this valley, when I'm in this moment of despair, he is there. I need to reach out. I need to call out. He may not sometimes take it away, but he'll go through it with me. Today, Jesus is there in your room with you. You may not believe in Jesus. You may not believe in all these things. You may have been hurt and think this is rubbish, and you may be angry at this, saying that I've been disappointed. I have somehow, the Lord has disappointed me. Maybe you have been so afraid of coronavirus, maybe even contracted coronavirus, and now you think it's the end. Let me tell you, it's not the end. My hope is in Jesus. My hope is in the Lord, in this life and the next. Even though I may perish in this life, I know where I go to be for eternity. My salvation is assured. I know who I am in Christ Jesus. If you don't know Jesus, if you are a skeptic, please, now is the moment to think about it. And if this sounds all silly and pat, and if this hasn't even answered anything, if you still have deep niggling questions, I'd like to encourage you, connect with us here at P3 Revival Community. Email us, WhatsApp us, Facebook message us, connect to us on the Facebook page. Go to the Facebook page where maybe you're seeing this through YouTube or through Facebook. Connect to us on the Facebook page or the YouTube channel that is soon to be. P3 Revival Community. Shout out to us, send us a message. For those that need prayer requests, those that they're struggling, wrestling, those that just need someone to listen to what is raging in their lives, send out a message to us. We're here to pray with you. We may not always have the exact answers, but we know who does have the answers, and that is Jesus. Throw out the anchor, throw out the lifeline, grab hold of Jesus. The storm is raging, but there is the sure foundation. May the Lord bless you in Jesus' name. Amen.